Hello fellow Gators! In today's Writing and Reading Center tutorial, we're going to talk about how to find sources through UHD's library databases. This is something that can seem pretty daunting if you're not familiar with using them, or really, even if you are. There's a lot of features in the library databases, and they pull up a lot of information. Hopefully, by the end of this video, though, you'll feel a bit more familiar with them. First, to get to the library databases, you'll go to the Student Resources tab at the top of UHD's homepage. And then you'll click on Library. If you're on a UHD computer, there'll be a tab for the library at the top of the browser you're using. That'll take you to a search bar right here where you can put in keywords. And there's also a couple of options right below it. As you can see, there's a full text online and scholarly peer-reviewed options you can select. Full text means that you should have full access to the sources that appear in the search. When a database doesn't have the PDF or text, there should be a link to an outside source that does have it, such as a journal's website, which may or may not let you view the full text without paying for it. You can also select scholarly peer-reviewed journals, which means that other experts in the article's field have gone through a review process for the article, and the journal was not published without feedback from these reviewers. This makes the articles that go through this process more credible than ones that are published without peer review. Because of this, I would recommend always selecting the scholarly journals option and the full text. So, in terms of putting in keywords, you really want to consider your search terms carefully, because you can either pull up too many results or you may limit them too much. Let's say you want to find articles about the critical period concept in psychology. If you just search for critical period, you may pull up a number of articles that may not be relevant to what you want specifically. So let's try it and see. Alright, looking at this, there are a number of articles that are about the critical period in psychology. But if you look at the results, that's a lot. It's pretty common to have results in the thousands or even millions, as we can see here. So, we'll need to limit the results to find more relevant articles. One thing to consider when you're trying to limit results is there are a lot of articles coming up with the same keyword that just aren't relevant. Maybe you're noticing a lot of studies involving the critical period for language acquisition, but you're more interested in the critical period for other skills. A way to eliminate a bunch of articles that use the same keyword or subject is by using the Not option in the box over here. If we add language acquisition to this, then articles with these keywords will be removed. As you can see, articles with these terms have disappeared now. There's also other options that you can select. So it could be changing your keywords and combinations multiple times to get what you want. As another alternative, the advanced search right here allows you to select a specific discipline to search in. It's also worth noting that in this case, I didn't really have to add the search term psychology, because these are terms that are typically used in psychological articles. But sometimes your research may involve keywords that can pop up articles for multiple subjects. So if you are having trouble finding sources within the field you want, make sure you add the field itself as a keyword. There's also some other options that we'd like to draw your attention to with the search bar. In this Select a Field option, you can change it to these that are listed. Amongst these, title, subject, and author are the ones you'll likely use the most. So if you know the name of the author you're looking for, you can use their name as a term. Or if you feel that the most relevant articles to your research should have certain keywords in the title of the article, you can change it to that as well. The subject field will be the keywords that appear in the subject area for each article, which is right here. Also, there's additional options in the Refine Results off to the side here. The publication date feature is one that you'll likely have to use at some point. You can adjust the date range for articles that call up. So, if you need more recent articles within, let's say, the past 2 to 4 years, or if you're looking for articles that were published during a specific period in time, this will help narrow your results. And then, the filter by source type can be important as well. You'll notice right here that there's a significant number of sources that are populating for reviews, which would typically be book reviews, when you may just want academic journals. So make sure you select the source type you want if there needs to be a limitation of some kind. Something to keep in mind as you're doing your research is that this search bar here in the main page searches all of the library's databases. This can be useful when you're wanting to search multiple databases at once, but you can also look at individual databases that are field specific. This is really the most helpful when you know the name of a database that you need for a specific field, because the databases may not contain the field in the title. MLA International Bibliography is a great example, which you can see here. Because this is a database that would commonly be used in English classes since it focuses on literature, rhetoric, composition, subjects like that. But if you were to look up literature, for example, in the A to Z listings, you wouldn't find it. That being said, sometimes you can still find databases based on a field. So, if we're still looking at psychology, we can go to P and see what kind of databases start with that in the title. If you scroll down, we have Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection, and some others. When you go to this database, then, you know that the articles that are there are based on this subject. So, you won't have to sift through articles that may not have anything to do with the field you're interested in. There's a final database feature that we'd like to bring up as well, and that's being able to look at specific journals. Similar to searching for specific databases, the Journals tab here is useful if you know a specific journal or field you want to look at. Maybe in the search results you keep noticing that the articles that apply to your research are repeatedly from 1 or 2 journals, so you want to look more into those journals. You can search for the name of the journal here, or you can also try the name of the field. If we put in psychology, for example, multiple journals pop up, including those involving social psychology, psychology of education, forensic psychology, and evolutionary psychology. Something to keep in mind while you're doing this is the dates that are listed for these journals in terms of access. Sometimes, certain sources only have certain date ranges archived. For example, if you need research that was published within the past 4 years, sometimes the archives for that journal may cut off in 2010. Other times, it can be the opposite. You may need a theory that was published in the 70s, but the archives only go back to, say, 1993. So, you want to make sure that the linked source provides the data range that you need. You'll also notice there's the side tabs here, just as with the main search bar, to further limit results. So there's Limit To, Subject, and Resource Type, if you don't know the specific journal that you want. Now, let's say you've done all of this, but you still can't find what you're looking for. You can use the Ask a Librarian feature right here. This is available to you 24/7, which is the greatest thing about it. You just type your question here, and the librarian reads your response and will help you. They're not going to do all the research for you, but they will ask what you've tried searching for so far and will give you suggestions based off of that information. And, of course, you can feel free to make an appointment at the Writing and Reading Center as well, and we can help you find sources. To make an appointment, just contact us at the information below. Well, that's all for our library tutorial today. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out our other tutorials to finish UHD strong.